If I told you that I have a method which is guaranteed that myself, my family, or friends get 100% of the dining reservations that we want, and even get on the ship earlier without having to be mega rock stars, splash of romance, or deep blue extra sailors, well, would you like to know what that is? I'm going to be discussing and sharing that with you today. You don't want to miss it. Yes, everyone, it's Jason here on our next adventure, and you heard that intro correct. No BS, no nonsense. I'm going to be telling you my method that has worked 100% of the time, whether it was for myself, family, or friends, to get exactly their dining reservations and on the ship even earlier than they thought without having any special status. Now, the important thing is that you need to listen to every single thing that I say. Don't miss a beat, don't miss a single syllable, because this is going to be the make and break full picture thing. You're going to have to do everything that I tell you from start to finish. Now, to make this even easier to understand and to break it up a little bit better, I have subdivided this into 3 phases of what you can do. There's phase 1, which is the post-booking pre-embarkation phase, okay? We're going to start with that and then we'll get onto the other 2. But trust me when I say this, at each phase, it's possible to get everything that you want. The reason there are other phases is that while something may be possible, it may not always be likely. There's going to be, for some of you, where you can get everything done after just doing everything in phase 1. There's going to be some that need just a little bit more tweaking and they'll wrap it all up in phase 2. And then there will be a few of you, do not get disheartened, who don't have everything perfect, and that's okay. Phase 3 is going to fix that. And by the end of all 3 phases, you've got exactly what you want. All right, let's begin with phase 1. Phase 1 is the post-booking, pre-embarkation phase. Now, what you need to do, the second you've booked your sailing, it doesn't matter how many days are until the sailing. It could be tomorrow, it could be a week from now, 6 months, a year, doesn't matter. The second you've booked your sailing, you open up your Virgin Voyages sailing app, you scroll down to the before you sail section, and you click on the button that says check in and get ready to sail. Once you click on that, it's going to open up a thing that now will say, let's get started, or something like that. And there'll be several different sections you need to click into to fill in. Ignore the first 6, go to the very last one. It's called Step Aboard. Click on that one. Once you open up the Step Aboard, you're going to be asked, for example, are you coming in on the day of the sailing or before? You're going to say you're flying in before. It's going to ask for your flight details. It does not matter if you've not booked a flight yet. Most people probably haven't. Ignore it. You can skip that step and go to the next part. The next part's the important part. It's going to ask you to select your embarkation time. Yes, you select your embarkation time. So if you do this super quick, like the moment you've booked your thing, there's a higher chance that there are more earlier options available than if you book it, leave it, and wake up maybe 200 days before you're sailing, 100 days before you're sailing, and then decide, oh, I should probably fill these pre-voyage things out. No, do it the second you've done it. Try and get the earliest time you can. And if by any chance, when you're doing this, it just happens to be that the earliest option is something like 4 p.m. or whatever, don't worry. We have more things lined up that are going to help you later on in this video to get an earlier time. Now we're moving on to step 2 to improve your embarkation time within phase 1. Remember how for step 1, I said you don't need to do or care about anything else except this one thing. The moment you book, go and do this. Right. Now that you've done that, in step 2, we take a deep breath, we take a step back, and we say to ourselves, how many days until my next sailing? Why? Because now we have 2 key dates to look out for. That is 120 days prior to your sailing and 45 to 44 days prior to your sailing. You may be wondering, why are these dates so important? So I'm going to quickly explain it to you, and then we're going to carry on with the rest of the method, okay? And it's crucial you understand this so that you're not just doing something and hoping for the best. So here's why. At 120 days prior to sailing, from that point onwards, anybody who's making a reservation or had put down a deposit has to have paid in full or pay in full should they book after 120 days. If it's still before the 120 day mark, someone who's just put down a deposit or even paid in full can request a refund. In that case, they'll get refunded the full non-deposit amount back to their original form of payment, but the 20% or whatever the deposit rate is going to only be future voyage credit that they can use towards another sailing. Now, at the 45-day mark, that is where if you ask for a refund, you can only get it back in future voyage credit. And from that point onwards, You can't ask for anything back. No future voyage credit, no refund whatsoever. It's now locked in. Now, I know some of you are probably wondering, okay, but I still don't get why I should care if other people are no longer on my sailing anymore because they've cancelled at 120 or 45 days out. And now I'm going to explain to you why you care. Because you see, let's pretend that you got the last seat on the entire ship, right? But the day before, when they released the sailing, that's when everyone else booked that sailing. And they all got earlier times than you. You got the latest and last slot. Well, now let's pretend that 120 days out, every other person except you decides, I can't make the sailing for whatever reasons, plans change, and they all cancel and ask for a refund. What does that mean for you, who's sitting there with a late boarding time? It means that the system's going to refresh, and if you had to go and try and change your embarkation time, you're going to suddenly see that the earliest time slot just opened up. Now, I'm not saying that everyone who cancels had the earliest time slot, but you'd be unbelievably surprised how many people will just go put down a deposit and then think about whether they can make the sailing or not, see that they can't, or they genuinely just need to change their plans, and suddenly they gave up their booking, which included their securing the earliest embarkation time possible. Well, it's up for grabs for you, but there's a catch, and you need to make sure you don't make this critical mistake. Before I tell you this critical mistake that can completely upend everything you've been trying to do, let me first explain to you how you change your embarkation time. And you may have already kind of guessed it. You're essentially going to do everything you did in step one, except you don't need to cancel and now rebook your sailing to do it. You just open up the app, go down to the before you sail section, click on the check-in part again, go to the 7th option, the last one that says step aboard, and now you're going to see your current time listed in the top and a pencil icon. You click on the pencil icon and it's going to say, do you wish to make a change? Please be aware that if you're going to make a change, you are going to give up your current time. And I know some of you are probably saying like, okay, well, what do I have to lose? I have a 4 p.m. time slot. Some of you might have a 2 p.m., a 2:15, 2:30, which is pretty good, but obviously can be improved. And now you're saying like, whoa, I don't know if I want to risk that. Because once you click change, your time that you're giving up is not updated in the system yet, at least from you giving it up. That's going to take some time, a few hours, a day or so. Only if other people had already done so, or those people who canceled had that time, when you do this, are you going to see that still available in the system? Meaning, if you have a 3 p.m. time, you can go in and change, and you might see 1:30 or 1:45 and go, oh my word, amazing, click, done. Well, that's it. You've gotten the best time you could. However, there are going to be some of you who might have 3 p.m. You click to change, you give up your time, and you see that actually 1, 2, 3 is not available. In fact, the only option available is 3:30, 3:45, 4 p.m. So you've actually hurt yourself. So you're probably wondering, well, why would I ever want to risk this? Well, because there's a way you can do this without any risk, and I'm going to tell you how. But before I do that, you have to know what I mean when I say the 3 F's. Let's get into that. Okay, so the 3 F's, simply put, are family, friends, and Facebook. Yes, I said Facebook. So as long as you know someone from the 3 F's who has either Mega Rockstar, Splash of Romance, or Deep Blue Extras and is on the same sailing as you, they can assist you at absolutely no risk to them in order to get a better embarkation time. Here's why and here's how. Those different types of status, Mega Rockstar, Splash of Romance, Deep Blue Extras, they have a guaranteed early embarkation time as part of their status. It doesn't matter what the embarkation time is that they got when they filled in everything from step 1, they will get in super early and according to that status. So for example, myself, when I did my booking, I got, I think, 1:45. But I have Deep Blue Extras, so I'm going to board even earlier than that, no matter what my embarkation time that I got from selection says. However, a friend of mine at the last minute decided that he wanted to come on the same sailing. And so when he booked at the last minute, he got 3:30 p.m. So I said to him, hey, don't worry, I'll help you get a better time. So I went into my app, I went to the step aboard, I clicked on change. I said, yeah, I'll give up my, risk giving up my embarkation time. Why? Because it didn't matter. I'm going to get on no matter what at an earlier time. Okay. And then I saw, oh, you know what? there was a 2 p.m. slot available and a 1:45. So I said to him, great, go and do that. The other option was 4 p.m. So I just went, I clicked 4 p.m. because it makes no difference to me. And he went and did it, saw the same stuff that I did, and he picked the 1:45. He got a much earlier boarding time. In fact, one of the earliest you can possibly get. And that's what they can do for you as well. That way, when they open up, they're not risking anything. They're just giving up an imaginary boarding time that makes no difference to them. When you do it, it actually makes a difference. And that's why they can check for you on your behalf in their app, right? They go in, they check, okay, they got a worse time because that's all that was available. Great, you don't go in and try and change it. Maybe they check again for you a week before, a day before, and there's a better time than what you currently have. Awesome. That's exactly then when you're going to go in and change it for yourself as well. Done. Super easy. Now, don't worry. I know we keep talking about embarkation times. Dining reservations are still there. We're going to sort it out. Trust me, the 100% fail-safe method of doing this is still to come. But whilst I have you here, could you consider, if you haven't already, subscribing to the channel? It would be so awesome if you did so. I really, really do appreciate it. And by the way, if you've also enjoyed this video so far, please give it a thumbs up. It tells me that, yeah, this was useful, it helped you, and that you'd love more useful tips and tricks that I have about Virgin Voyages and other things that I plan to release in the future. But back to the method. Now, believe it or not, we've actually completed everything you can do to get the best possible embarkation time. And I know what you're thinking, whoa, there's 3 phases. Why is it only in this one? Well, because it is the only one where you can get the best possible embarkation time. However, we're not done yet. We still have dining, and dining takes place in phases 1, 2, and 3. And trust me, I understand that dining is incredibly important. Probably one of the most important things when it comes to Virgin Voyages, and everyone wants to get everything that they want for it. And my method will make sure you get every single reservation that you want when you want it. However, I know this video was a lot to take in. You probably want to watch it again to make sure you got every single thing written down. And so I'm going to release the dining in a separate video. So stay tuned for the next video where I cover my dining method. You do not want to miss it. Cheers. Bye.